Let's see, is this working? Okay, awesome. So, welcome to this really quick stream right here. Basic idea behind this is really just I wanted to test out actually the infrastructure for streaming, and I wanted an excuse to build a 40% keyboard, so I thought that I would do this as that. So, mainly what I'm doing here is working with this recording setup, and we'll just jump right into this build. So this is a UT47.2 from Keyhive. Sorry about that if this packaging is loud. This is just a really entry-level budget little board right here. 40%. I did not understand just how small it was. It's pretty crazy. So what we're doing here is I have some Durock L1s, I think, and then just a Durock V2 stabilizer right here. So these are already lubed. I'm just going to get this lubed up, and then this should be a pretty straightforward build from there. So I've got some Krytox 205 grade 0 right here. Nice thing with these Durock screw and stabs is they already come disassembled for you. These are probably just, in my opinion, Durock is doing some of the most interesting stuff in the keyboard space right now. A lot of brands are under that. The new, what are they called? The new Everglide Water Kings or whatever, the fully transparent switches look absolutely incredible. I was looking at getting my hands on some of those before, but I just cannot figure out Superbuy for some reason. So let's just get a little bit of lube on this stab right here. Go ahead and spread that out evenly in this housing. So I'm not sure if I was doing that off camera. Here that is. Nicely done. So yeah, in terms of other stuff I wanted to talk about, it's been about a week since I made a video with the set theory video, and that's been for a number of reasons. I've been super busy with just some of my freelance work, getting a few projects wrapped up there, and then starting a few other ones, and also working on some interesting projects for the YouTube channel, more on the just sort of ridiculous project side rather than the direct teaching math side. So I'm just trying to get some of that stuff started and really work through all of the stuff that I have outside of YouTube, because YouTube is not like my top priority right about now, because it's not a revenue stream, and while I love doing it, I'm sort of just on a gap year right now, which is a unique opportunity, and I want to make sure I'm using that to its full extent. And so with that, I'm doing a lot of studying and things like that. I was just completely on autopilot there. I forgot to actually put this together at all before doing that, so let's just go ahead. That stem is in backwards. Just gonna go ahead and get our stem back in the stab right here so that we can go ahead and click in the wire, which you may have to bear with me for. As you can see, my right hand is finally free. We're out of the brace, out of the cast, which has been great, especially since I've been able to use keyboards a lot better. I've been enjoying my Mysterium, which some people spotted in the back of my Jomatech response video a while back. So that build is done. I have some Pegaso keycaps on that. Really enjoying using that. I already looped this housing. What am I doing? Okay, so now let's put that down. Let's get this stem into there. So yeah, and then for this build right here, it's just really, I've been seeing a lot of 40s recently, and at first I thought there's no way I could ever use that, but I really do want to give it a try. It looks like a cool format, and also it's another way to, if you are using a 40 in public, it's a easy way to signal that you're a part of this community, which I feel like in most hobbyist communities, that's the most important part at this point. So yeah, I'm going to give this format a try with just this entry-level board, and if I like it, we'll see. Maybe I will go deep into the 40s world from there, which is a slightly scary prospect. Not gonna lie. So now we're gonna get this stab housing in. Click in our wire, which does not want to click for me. There we go. So yeah, that's that stab, nice and lubed. These don't need to be clipped because of the way that the Duroc, with a lot of the newer stabs, like pretty much anything you're going to buy outside of a Cherry or GMK at this point, it's going to not need any clipping or anything like that, because that the thing that required that mod before, which was these little feet on the ends of the stems, they don't include that anymore because it is not actually useful and people were just clipping it off anyway. So if you get any of the enthusiast level stabs like Zeals or Durocs or anything like that, you're not going to have to do the clipping mod, which is a nice thing, but it does come at a cost. These stabilizers are way more expensive than if you just get some Cherry or Duroc ones. In my opinion, they are worth it though, and also they're just much nicer. So now we're just going to actually screw in the stabilizer. So this board, since it's a 40, I just had to buy this 2U stabilizer. That's the only stabilized key in the entire build, which is pretty nice, not having to worry about that. Lubing is probably my least favorite part of building keyboards, so that's why a lot of the Duroc is actually really good on their factory lube on switches. So I've been using a lot of their switches. On my T1s that are in my Mysterium, I did lube over them, but I've been sort of going back and forth, and on these linears that I'm using in this build, I've tried them out, and I really do think that the factory lube is more than okay. Okay, so next up here, we've got our stabilizers in. So now we can go ahead and put our plate down, actually. Why is this giving me trouble? Is that incorrectly there? This is upside down? Yeah, maybe. It should be a symmetrical plate. I don't think it should have any issue. Well, let's just get some switches in there to stabilize this. Just got some Duroc T1 linears here, I believe. Or no, not T1, sorry, L1s or L5s. Don't remember which I ended up going with. Did I do something wrong with the stabilizer? This plate is not cooperating, but it should. I mean, it's just a 2U stab. Press it down over it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, got that. Nope, this plate is definitely on backwards. God darn it. Okay, so yeah, so talking about other stuff. So I've been sort of working on figuring out what I'm going to do with the channel going forward, and I definitely do plan to continue with all of my sort of math-centric stuff. Taking that completely off stream. I am going to keep going with all my algorithms and stuff like that. That's the stuff that I love. That's the stuff that I want to be able to share. But then also I think I'm going to diversify my content a little bit. I've been wanting to make more keyboard-centric stuff for a while. Most of the stuff that I actually like buy and build is entry level because frankly I just don't really have the patience for working through group buys and things like that. So it's just my preferred form is doing things like that. Also, if people are here, just say it in the chat because I want to see if my chat setup is actually working for OBS or not. So if anyone wants to talk, that would help me out. And yeah, now let's just get the switches installed. On this UT47.2 PCB, it's got Kale hot swaps pre-installed. It's got a USB port, all the diodes and stuff are already taken care of for you. It's got underglow RGBs, which is nice. So yeah, this is a good entry-level board and definitely a super quick build. I wouldn't normally go for something with all those creature comforts because I do actually enjoy like soldering and things like that, just as a way to take a break from all the other work I'm doing. But when I'm just working on an entry-level board, I especially for a new format like 40s, where I have absolutely no clue if I'm actually going to end up liking this at all, I'm just going to go with whatever's cheapest and easiest to get started on so that I have a baseline to work off of. So I just want to get some of the switches down in the corners to hold the plate in place. We'll also get our 2U in here, our spacebar key, just to hold down from that side of the board. One thing I'm trying to be more cognizant of, and I'm not doing a great job of, is making sure I'm actually doing all this stuff in view of the camera. So what I actually have for my camera setup going on here is just my phone hanging from an overhead arm over my desk, which is not the most professional, but it works, so that's what I go with. Just trying to get this plate down into place. Looks like the tolerances on this FR4 plate are, I don't know, a little bit tight on the stabilizer area, which is giving me a little bit of trouble, but it's okay overall. Oh, am I supposed to... I don't think I need spacing washers between that, right? These are probably going to be for the floor. I didn't see any sort of build guide or any like instructions associated with this board, so I'm sort of doing what I'm pretty sure is correct and leaving it at that. So I'm just gonna install these. I should have tested these traces and things like that before, but I'm getting a little lazy and I just want to try this format. I've been waiting for things to come in the mail for a while. It's crazy. I ordered this, and Keyhive is based out of Utah. They shipped it on February 23rd, I think, and it was supposed to, according to USPS, it was going to take like a day or two. And then here we are, like not a day or two later. And at the same time, I ordered something from an electronics supply place called All Electronics in Van Nuys, California. And I'm on the East Coast, so that's to give you an idea of how far we're going here. That I ordered 2 days ago, and it came in the same delivery as this. So the postal system is all sorts of messed up. So now I've got all the corners down in this board. It should be nice and stabilized, so we're just going to go ahead and get that installed now. Just gonna get all of my switches down on the board. I didn't bother with a case or foam or anything, so I don't know. I'm not assuming that this is gonna be a great board from a usage standpoint in terms of all of my sound and things like that. This is really just to get acquainted with the layout and try that. I'm gonna have to flash it afterwards. I actually use Colmac when I'm typing day to day, but I keep all my boards flashed with just a standard QWERTY layer, and then I do all of the, and then I actually switch to Colmac in software just through macOS, because I find most of the time that I'm switching between my actual keyboards and the keyboard on my actual MacBook. I should be doing this on some sort of mat, but both of my mats are underneath my, let's go ahead and move some stuff out of the way to just do this on a nicer surface and not scrape this PCB against my table. That's weird. I just found a screw on the bottom of my Mysterium. Okay, well, let's just get this mat over here. So yeah, what was I saying before? Keyboard layouts. So yeah, I use Colmac. Mostly, I don't remember why I started using Colmac. I think it's, first of all, I never, like in school or anything, I never really learned how to touch type QWERTY, so I wasn't really working off any sort of basis that I had to forget. I sort of like touch typed fully with my left hand, and then about half with my right hand. I used like 3 or 4 fingers. So I think I wanted to just have a clean slate to start from to learn how to touch type. So I decided to switch layouts to Colmac. And then also, even as early as like 10th or 11th grade, I was already getting some amount of RSI issues, which is not fun. So a lot of what you want to do when you're combating that is just switch how you're using your hands and your wrists and all that from time to time. So that included, I switched my keyboard layout, I use a trackball from time to time, and things like that. But yeah, overall, just really trying different things. So yeah, I've ended up using Colmac for the last couple of years. And I like it. It's just, it makes some things annoying, like anytime I want to use hotkeys, or like when I used Vim, I just had like a really stupid keybind layer that I had to build and figure out in terms of what muscle memory do I have for when I was using Vim on QWERTY that's never going to go away in terms of like navigation and things like that. And then what do I actually want to do based on the meaning of different letters. So really what it is when you highly customize your workspace and things like that, no one else is ever going to be able to make actual use of them. So if anyone's ever like, I don't know, trying to type on my computer, if I'm having someone look over something or edit something, I like having all of my changes made in software so that I can easily switch it back, which is also occasionally handy for if I'm using a program or something like that that has keybinds that I'm already familiar with in QWERTY and I don't want to take an hour customizing it. So that's that sort of thing. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, to be honest, in terms of live streaming. I'm just sort of talking, and I don't know. That's what I see most people doing. I'm not quite big enough to really have a chat to interact with just yet. Oh, wait, actually, do I have some chats coming up that are just way too small? It looks like that is the case. Let's see. Oh, we got Philip Vo. Yeah, so asking about how the UT47 actually works here. So yeah, pretty much the deal with this kit is the PCB comes fully hot swapped and things like that. So you can just go ahead and buy switches, buy keycaps, pop them in and screw things together. There's no soldering required for this. You just need one 2U stabilizer. There are a lot of entry-level kits like this if you're looking to get into things, but I also recommend learning how to solder. It's not that hard at all, and it's a useful tool and will open up a lot of other projects to you and a lot of other kits. But yeah, this looks like a pretty decent starter board, at least for an introduction to 40s, which I'm definitely excited about. So yeah, but with this kit, it's already hot swapped. It's already, everything's done for you, no soldering at all. So good starter option. Yeah, so going back to what other stuff I'm doing on YouTube and things like that, I have a few more episodes of my algorithm series written. I just need to actually draw the visuals for that. And I'm also thinking about switching up how my visuals actually work. Because right now I've just been drawing things out in GoodNotes and screen recording like that. But I mean, first of all, my handwriting's not the best, so I feel like not all of the slides essentially that I'm using are always the most legible. And also a lot of the time I'm not even like moving things around. So I'm thinking of moving to a more hybrid approach where I'll probably use an actual presentation software of some sort. Probably just, I forget, there's some web framework that just essentially converts Markdown to presentation slides. I might just end up using that and then importing it into GoodNotes so that I can draw over it and do things like that for anything where I need movement. I looked into using 3 Blue 1 Brown's little Python framework that he has for generating like mathematical animations. I think it's called Manim. He has it available on GitHub, and then there's also a community branch that has sort of built off of that for Manim, and it's definitely a really cool project. And the visuals that it generates are very nice, but first of all, I have no desire to invest the time in terms of learning it and things like that. And like sort of my greatest downfall generally in most development projects is when I am doing things that interact with like spatial things like that, where I'm thinking, where do I want this to go and things like that. Like while I can and obviously do math with those sort of things in terms of like spaces and things like that and transformations in linear algebra, I don't know why, but just the thought of debugging things like that is just not something I really ever want to deal with. So I tend not to do any development projects that require things like that, and learning Manim is just a ton of that graphical stuff. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing in terms of that. I've been thinking about different animation frameworks and stuff going forward. And also just sort of different video styles and topics that I can do. Like I had that video recently on that new supply chain attack, the dependency confusion thing. That was a really fun video to make. I just did that whole thing. I wrote, recorded, and did all of the video stuff with that, which had some light animation and actual video work in it. I did all that in one night, and I was pretty happy with how that came out, and it got a solid response. So yeah, I think if things come up that are more current events focused like that, I'm definitely open to making videos on that. And really, I'm just sort of trying to figure out what I'm doing going forward. Is there something wrong with this switch? Oh, this pin's a little bent. Yeah, but also if anyone has any suggestions or anything that they want to see from me going forward in terms of computer science or math topics or anything like that that you're interested in learning, definitely just reach out, leave a comment, anything like that. And I will probably do it because I'm just really looking for ideas right now. I have several things in the pipeline, but yeah, always open to more suggestions. It's just really a matter of when I have time to do things at this point, between just sort of the stuff that I want to learn during this year that I have off and actually just working on different contracts and projects like that, and tutoring and whatever else I do. I end up with a limited amount of time for this hobby, so I just want to feel like I'm allocating it towards things that people are going to appreciate and that people want to learn. So be sure to reach out and leave things like that, definitely. What else? So yeah, I'm currently, actually, you know what, this is a good time for me to just talk about how this channel even came to be, who I am, and all of that. So something that, at least from reading comments on my videos, seems like is not entirely obvious is I'm just 19 years old. I don't just look young, I am young. And I'm currently on a gap year before starting college, solidifying my exact plans for next year from that point of view. And for the first couple of months in the year, I was working at a startup in Israel, just doing like general full stack development work, and that was fun. But just the situation in terms of, you know, COVID and all that, meant that it didn't really make sense for me to work from home in an apartment overseas instead of working from home from my room. So I'm back in the U.S. now, and I'm sort of trying to figure out what I want to do with the rest of this year until around August, September time. I'm open to employment opportunities or anything like that if anyone has any of that, and I've been doing just my stuff that I sort of had going as a hustle throughout high school of freelance work, tutoring, things like that. So also, if anyone needs anything from that side in terms of projects that you need done, or if you're a student, help in computer science or math, or humanities really too. It's my other main interest. I'm happy to assist in that respect, so be sure to reach out if that's a service you're interested in. And yeah, so I've just been sort of hanging out, learning things on my own pace as they interest me. For now, recently I've been working through the Dragon book, learning compilers and things like that, which has been really interesting, something I just started. And I think I've spoken about some of my previous studies before. I was doing graph theory up until this point, and just sort of learning and working on the things that interest me, and then also doing some stuff for money because money's nice as well. So yeah, it's been a good year so far. I mean, considering the entire global situation. Okay, so there we go. We've got all of the switches installed into our plate now. Smart thing to do would probably be to test it, so let's go ahead and do that. Just grab a cable here. Get this plugged into my laptop. I can't find a C to C cable on hand right now, so we're going to be converting USB-C to USB-A and then using a cable to convert that back to USB-C, because that makes total sense. So let's just go ahead and get this plugged in here. There we go. It's just got some red underglow for now. I assume it has some sort of default profile put on it already, so we can check out what that is. It's probably what I'll stick with for now, at least while I'm doing it. So just press identify this keyword, click continue. Got to do the whole Mac thing. There we go. I think those are where the shift keys are. Picked up both of those just fine. I'm not sure if this comes flashed with Via, but Via is what I tend to use for most things. Let's go to this scene right here, and I want to show my laptop screen. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and open up Via Configurator, see if it happens to already be using that. If we go in here, does not seem to be the case that we're lucky enough to get that done. So let's go ahead and boot up QMK Toolbox. And okay, yep, it found that. Let's see if I just look up UT47.2. I'm just looking for a default key map right now, really. I might just end up going to key test and doing it like that. Yeah, you know what, this is too annoying. Let's just go ahead and do it like that. Clean up my tabs here. So yeah, this is the kit. I'll put a link to it in chat right now, actually, just as a resource. I'll just pop down that link. And then now let's just go to like keyboard tester. I think there are a bunch of other ones, but whatever. Let's just see. So that's escape, and then we have, okay, yeah, the sound is not necessary. Okay, right, let's also just go ahead and switch to US layout. And okay, that row is looking good. Tab, ASDF, G, yep. Got all of our alphabetic keys on there as well. Yep, and then bottom row of actual letters looks good. Control, Alt, Windows key, spacebar. Have our arrow keys flashed to be right here. Yeah, so everything is looking good with that. So let's go ahead and assemble it as far as putting in all of our screws and things like that. And then we will go ahead and put on our keycaps. So in terms of the keycap set for this, we had an interesting predicament to deal with because 40% have a lot of really weird keys, and finding a kit that actually covers all of those can occasionally be pretty annoying to deal with. So I actually ended up going with KBD Fans' one of their NP kits. I think it's like NP Chalk or something like that, which is just like I think it's essentially the same format as XDA. I don't really know why it's called something different, but it is. Okay, and then how does this actually go together in terms of putting on this backplate? This is like the sort of thing that always annoys me with these sort of builds, is just when it's a little bit underspecified in terms of what I actually need to do here. There's just a ton of screws and not really a lot of things for those screws to screw into. So I don't know. I'm gonna assume that it's something like this, where screws go through this plate and then go into standoff over here, and then that standoff also gets screwed into from the bottom, maybe. I don't know. This doesn't seem to have any sort of like tilting kit with it or anything like that. So this is the best guess that I have, that it's just gonna go like that. That seems to make some amount of sense, I think. I don't know. Give it a try. So this kit is printed the same on both sides. So we'll do it like this. And let's just unplug that to get rid of that red underglow. So yeah, I probably shouldn't have screwed it in from the side first. It doesn't really make a ton of sense, but I committed to it, so let's keep going from this side. Okay, I can just unscrew this actually. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure what the intended solution for screwing the plate onto this kit is. Hello, Andre. So welcome to the stream. As you see here, we've got all of our actual keyboard actually put together. Just putting on the back plate now, and then we will get to the keycaps in a second. So what I'm gonna do now is just assume that all of these screws go like this. And if you're watching and I'm doing this wrong, then be sure to yell at me in the chat and correct me, because that will help me actually do it correctly. But this seems to be the most logical thing, at least. I think probably down the line, if I decide I'm going to keep this kit and I like this layout, I'll probably get some foam cut for this, because, I don't know, these standoffs seem pretty long. That's going to be a lot of space, and that's going to end up giving you a really hollow sound if you don't have a foam layer or something like that. I'm also probably going to end up 3D printing a case for this. I actually, when I was expecting to not be here for this entire year, I gave my 3D printer to a friend because it had been given to me by a friend when they went to college, so I decided to just go ahead and continue that tradition. So I think if he's got that printer in working order, then I'll probably just commission a print like that and get something done like this. I'm pretty sure the hex case design for this PCB is open sourced anyway. Keyhive is really awesome about that sort of thing, and also just really awesome in general. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's a really small operation. I think it's just Cody on his own, just sort of doing this thing, providing some really awesome kits. Keyhive is, crap. This screw is now stuck. Give me a second while I shake that out. There we go. So yeah, Keyhive is a really awesome company. That's who I got this kit from. I should probably, I'm going to update this stream description once I'm done to include links to all of the stuff that I'm using here. But yeah, so pretty much what we've got. It's one thing that's annoying is these screws are not magnetic for some reason. So what we've got going on here is a UT47.2 kit from Keyhive. This is my first ever 40% build, so I just went with the entry-level option. And the one with the less absolutely bizarre layout, like the ones where you just have a modifier key that also serves as your cue or something like that. That's a little too intense for me at this point. I just want to start with a keyboard that still looks like a keyboard at the very least, but just also has all of the 40% stuff of the size and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, definitely going to want to get some foam for this at some point, because that is quite the gap right there. €9 membrane keyboard. Yeah, fair enough. I would recommend staying as far away from the mechanical keyboard hobby as you can, because it gets to a point where you're just like, I want this thing, or I want to try this thing. Like right now, this is my first 40% keyboard. I have absolutely no clue if this is even going to be a usable layout for me. Put it on the screwdriver bit, that way the screw. Yeah, I think the problem is that the screws aren't magnetic, but yeah. Yeah, so stay as far away as possible from the mechanical keyboard hobby, because it gets to the point, something like this, like I just want to try a 40% keyboard, and I don't know, this build is, I think the kit itself is only like $40, but then screws, or no, not screws, switches rather, probably, I don't know, going to be another, you need about 50 switches to cover this board, well, 47 to be exact, but it's about 50 switches, so that's another, how much, if you're getting like a mid-tier normally priced switch at about 50 cents a switch, that's like another 25 bucks, and you're up to 65 bucks, and then a keycap set, probably going to run you like another 70 or so. You could definitely get something cheaper, but even entry-level bills or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that these are aluminum or something like that. I don't know. They're just what shipped with the kit. I didn't bother to source my own, which I don't know. Considering how annoying this is, maybe would have saved some time and some struggle. But who cares? It's 5 screws, so and we're almost done. I don't know. I'm gonna assume that all of these screws right here are just extras. Your channel is extremely underrated. Thank you so much. Yeah, just sort of doing my best starting out here. Thank you for the support, and I hope I keep living up to that. And if you think it is underrated, then I don't know, share it with your friends maybe. Help out with that. I've thought about 3D printing a keyboard. Yeah, so 3D printing, there are a lot of great open source designs for keyboard cases and things like that, and even just hand wires if you want to completely forego having a PCB just to get a microcontroller. Just give me 1 second. I forgot my actual keycap set in a drawer over here, so let me get that. So yeah, but fully 3D printing a custom keyboard is super doable, and it's a fun project to do. I'm just not the most engineering inclined when it comes to like CAD modeling and things like that. I'm able to do electronics to a good enough degree to support the code that I want to write for different projects, but yeah, CAD modeling, things like that is sort of where it falls down for me, so I would end up just sticking to the open source options. And let's move this giant mass of screws that got included for some reason over to the side, and I will show you my keycap set in a second right here. So right here we have the NP PBT chalk set, I believe, from KBD fans. The reason I got this kit is I needed a bunch of extra keys for some other projects anyway, so this has like 170 keys or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get them on. When you're dealing with the 40%, you don't even have a number row. Everything like that is done by layers. So starting in this quarter with Q and W, and I think I'll probably put one of their, this set comes with like a bunch of novelty keys, which is cool. I like fun little extras like that. You can see some there. I'm definitely going to use these for my arrow keys and things like that as well. Let me just distribute all these trays of keys as well as I can. Let's go for this little novelty right here as an escape key. But yeah, these feel pretty high quality, especially for the price. This was like, this entire set was 70 bucks or something like that, which is incredibly reasonable, so I'm very happy with this. Just going to go ahead and get these on, and also I am just going to bring up a picture of this layout real quick just to remind me of what the default mappings are, because I think I'm probably just going to end up using the default layer map on this, or I'll customize it later as I go, but for now I want to have a visual reminder of what's where, because all of the modifiers and things like that are sort of shifted down, because I mean you only have 47 keys for an entire map. Am I doing something wrong? No, okay. So yeah, but all of your numbers, all of your symbols and things like that, you have to get to through other layers, so it's definitely going to take me a while to learn this, but the most used stuff is readily available. I find that my keyboards are just sort of continuously shrinking at this point, and be sure to stay tuned, because I actually have a project coming up that is sort of the pinnacle of keyboard shrinking. I don't want to give it away just yet, but it's in a fully working state. I just want to get a nice enclosure for it and things like that, which is what one of my orders that just came in is. So stay tuned for a slightly ridiculous keyboard project that actually lets me talk about some cool math and computer science stuff with it as well. I completely lost my OBS tab. There we go. So let's say I wanted to say cycle or get to some time and found it. Thank you. Yeah, those Git videos were a good start. So yeah, there's actually just one stab right here that you can see. Because this 40% keyboard only has the 1-2U switch right here. But other than that, everything is, yeah, just 1 or 1.5 or 1.25U. So this is our only stabilized key right there. If you go back to the start of the stream, I showed lubing it and things like that. So that, and also is this chat window is too big. Pardon me for a second. Just want to make sure everything can fit on the screen. So yeah, this is the only stab right here is this 2U, which, I mean, yeah, it's super empty sound because I need to get some sort of sound dampening material for down there. But yeah, so now we can just go ahead and put down the rest of our things right here. So we have a backspace here that I believe is 1.5U. So let me just grab a suitable cap for that. Is this going to work? Nope. So yeah, this set just comes with a ridiculous number of keys, which is nice for a build like this, but also requires me actually looking around to find what I want. So that backspace right there, we will just cover with one of these novelty caps, I guess. That's technically slightly too small. That is... Here, this looks like a 1.5. Yes, this is a 1.5. And also, you know, the X's on the eyes, that's sort of like deleting. That's sort of backspacey. All right, that makes sense. Or at least I'm going to tell myself it does. Okay, so then we just have our next row of letters down here. This is a pretty nice set. Also, I'm not usually a fan of rounded profiles like XDA or NP or anything like that, but I don't know, it's useful definitely for things like this where I don't have to worry about things being in the right profile in terms of key heights and things like that. If this came with an extra F and J, maybe I would have even just put the keycaps on in Colmac as the layout, but I decided most of the time I just keep things like that. I'm able to touch type Colmac, so I don't need to look at the keys anyway. So I'd rather have it in QWERTY for the few occasions where I do actually have to use QWERTY. So yeah, how long are we into this at this point? 43 minutes and this build is almost done. So yeah, that should give you an idea of just how easy these entry-level kits are. You can get them done really quick. This is about an hour for the entire build, including putting on caps and things like that. So yeah, good time. Just going to finish this stuff up here. And then I'm hoping by the end of this week, I will also be back to uploading some of my regular content. We have episode 3 of algorithms talking about trees and how they work coming up. So I'm excited about that. And then we've also, I've started writing a few more bite-sized videos. So doing things like that. I'm trying to just figure out what mathematical topics or computer science topics, or really whatever you guys are interested to cover. So if you have any suggestions, just leave them in chat, and if I feel knowledgeable enough about them, then I will definitely give those a go. Okay, so now we have our 1.25U enter key. Let's go with this little planet looking thing here, I guess. So yeah, this is what I like about how this set has just so many novelties, is you can just kind of put whatever anywhere and it'll kind of work. I think it did have a actual 1U shift key. Yeah, so we'll use that just to signify that, because why not? It's available to us. And it gives it a little bit more of a cohesive look. But yeah, there's a fun little colorful keycap set. It's all of my KBD fan stuff that I've used in this build, which I think all of the Duroc stuff ended up being ordered through them. I actually ordered from Divinikey, which is an Los Angeles-based distributor for keyboard stuff. They're also really, really awesome. You guys should check those guys out, along with Keyhive if you need any. And let me just see, for a 1.25U tab, we'll go with this key right here, I guess. And then we have a 1.5 shift. So yeah, this actually ends up having perfect amount of keys to cover everything. And then we have 1U, Control Alt, all of those. So we can get those down in their correct form. Just get a control, and then our super or code or whatever you want to call it. And then function, I'm not sure if we have an actual function key. So we can just use one of these, I guess, or one of the other novelty ones in here. Let's figure out what the colors are going to end up looking like for everything else, and then we'll put on one that matches, and then we will get our, get our Alt key down here, and then I believe these two areas right here are 1.25U. So you know what, let's actually, do I have my puller here somewhere? Yes. Let's make these two match, and then we'll make, actually no, let's just do a sort of inverse thing there, I guess. Put this on this side and that on that side. Or actually no, let's just do it the boring way. Oh, that doesn't look like something is quite big enough there, but it's okay. I don't think that's a 1.5U space. Actually, no, that is definitely a 1.5U right there. Do I have more 1.5Us? Not really, so I'm just going to use 1.25Us in these spots. Give the space bar a little bit of space around it, that's fine. And then we will just, I don't know, what colors do we have here? We don't have the purple here represented, so let's go with this key right here for our function key, I guess. Let's do it like that, I guess. And yeah, there we go. That's that build done. This keyboard is, 40s are way smaller than I realized, which, I mean, shouldn't be a surprise because, after all, they are barely any part of the keyboard put onto a keyboard. So how would you layer the numbers? Okay, so generally how a 40% like this works is, I'm not sure what the default key map is on one of these, but one of these keys in the bottom row here, probably one of these two, or maybe both of these two, depending on how they're structured, are actually going to be for switching layers. So then generally you'll have this be a layer, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, like that, across the top row. But obviously, since everything here is running like QMK and things like that anyway, you could go ahead and map that to pretty much anything you want. So yeah, if we just go ahead and get this plugged in here. Okay, is there any sort of layer indication or things like that? We'll just go to keyboard tester and mess with it a little bit. Yeah, so here, okay, so this seems to be shift layer. Get that sound off. And then on this side, we just have the regular layer switch. So yeah, so that's how that works. This is how you can get to all of your other keys like that. So yeah, just a nice little board. Oh, okay, so this is actually currently mapped to that. To enter, you actually need to, how do you, where is the enter key on this? That's actually a good question. We have tab there, we have a shift there. Oh, okay, this is our enter key. So, you know what, let's switch the keycap on that just to signify that while I'm still learning it. It's fine for it to be shift because obviously what the keycaps actually say don't matter at all. But while I'm still learning the key map that we have going on here, it would be nice to know that this is an enter key. So what do we want to do there? I'll just, that's normally backspace, so let's just grab this heart right here, I guess. Does not want to come out of the tray. There we go. So yeah, then there we go. Okay, so there are some keycap swaps that I might do here. Like this should be a 1.5U, these should both be 1.5Us. But pretty much that is that build done. So let me just see. Oh, hey, we've got Mascarola in the chat, nice. And then which one did you buy? The plates and PCB only, I've never convinced. Okay, yeah, so talking about actual 40s keyboards from that perspective now. Yeah, so this is the UT47. I got the plates and PCB pack right here, which is just a full kit of everything you need for a keyboard. Do you need one of these? Definitely not. I mean, it does the same things as a regular keyboard. Do you want one of these? I don't know. I think they're pretty cool, and that's sort of what convinced me to buy them after, I think it was, there was a few days where people were just posting their 40s on Reddit, and I decided that I try that because it just seems so ridiculous. Like, I don't know, TKLs make complete sense to me. 65% make complete sense to me. 60%'s already pushing it a little. Oh, we just lost connection. 60% make complete sense to me. But then getting down to something like this, where pretty much like normal functions that you have to do, like numbers, are done through a layer, just seems a little bit ridiculous. But it seems ridiculous enough to completely intrigue me and get me to actually buy one, which you can see here. And okay, I'm starting to get some connection issues with my camera for some reason, so I think probably we're going to call that stream there. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in future videos with regards to either math or computer science, definitely, and then also probably doing some more keyboard stuff, just because this is one of those hobbies that I want a reason to keep buying stuff for. So maybe I'll also do some fountain pen videos at some point, who knows. Anything to validate my random consumerism. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.